Crimson Desert is big. Yes, it has an insanely large map size. Yes, there are over 70 bosses to defeat, and yes, there is fishing. Basically, if you're wondering if a particular game mechanic is in Crimson Desert, the answer is probably yes, in some shape or form.
I just got lucky.
And with that immense size and breadth of options, comes a lot of quirks, systems, and time-saving tricks it either doesn't tell you, or flashes on screen so quickly during the deluge of information that you may not see it at all. Here are 14 things Crimson Desert doesn't tell you, or that are really easy to miss. You're going to spend a lot of time in menus in Crimson Desert, between checking your inventory, the map, your quests, and more. A real time saver, so you don't have to just pause and then tab over constantly, is that you can hold the button you use to open your menu, and then scroll with a D-pad to the exact screen that you want. If you're in and out of the same screen a few times for a specific purpose, there's even a recent menu option on the bottom. Get used to holding the button and selecting what you want. This button also becomes contextual at times. For example, when you need to put on your Vision helmet to view a memory, the helmet icon will pop up, and you can just press the button to instantly don the helmet rather than rummage through your gear. You can also use the pop-up to wait if a quest requires you to do something during a certain part of the day. Take every chance you can to save time. This adventure is long enough. You don't need to add time fiddling around in menus to it. While many of Crimson Desert's enemies are simple fodder that can be taken out with a few hits, or an RKO or two, enemies with a different symbol on the minimap are often special elite units that are harder to defeat. Some even have unique attack patterns that you need to be ready to deal with, so make sure you're checking your minimap during engagements, especially when bad guys cluster together. It can be hard to tell them apart sometimes. Speaking of skills, there's a lot of really cool ones in the skill tree. Many of them take quite a bit of stamina, however, especially movement and axiom force abilities. Even if you do have enough stamina to activate them, for instance the arm swing costs 200 stamina to even start, you could be left in the air with nowhere to glide or maneuver, other than straight down. The same goes for faster flight when using your wings. You'll go much faster, but drain through your stamina very quickly. Improving your base stats may serve you better in the long run rather than rushing to get these cool abilities. One quick tip that might save you, you'll recover a bit of stamina while falling even if it doesn't look like it. So even if you can't do anything in midair other than fall, you can often at least break your fall by jamming on your glide button before you hit the ground to save yourself from a premature death. Some encounters can be hard. Like, really hard. Thankfully, there's no restrictions on pausing or using items during battles. You can use items without pausing by tapping right on the D-pad if you have that item equipped on the radial menu. To open the radial, hold right on the D-pad, and then use the right stick and triggers to select what you want. This is convenient, but the caveat is that time only slows down in the radial menu, it doesn't pause. If you're having a really tough time and need to search for what you need, feel free to fully open up your inventory to pause the action and down some porridge mid-bout. It might be a bit uncouth, but hey, you're not a gray mane for your great table manners. While Cliff can climb most cliffs, there's a much quicker way to get vertical once you have Force Palm and your wings, both of which you get very early in the story. Once you have them unlocked, stand next to a cliffside, jump, and Force Palm midair 3 times. At the height of your jump, jam on square until your glide comes out, and just float forward to either find a new ledge or clear the cliff entirely. Axiom Force also has an ability that lets you pull yourself straight to the grapple point, but it costs 200 stamina to use, as I mentioned earlier, and the range is pretty limited. There is still use, however, as you can launch out and tether to a surface mid-air, and even pull back thin trees to launch yourself into the air. Grapple hook to them up high, move backward to get it tight, hold L2, and then spin the right stick to pull back until you see high jump on the bottom right. Then you can fling yourself into the heavens.
Still breathing.
It took me an embarrassingly long time to figure this out. I suffer so you don't have to, but combo attacks will activate if you hold the attack button. You don't have to keep pressing it. This changes the flow of attacking a bit, but it feels much smoother once you get used to it. For instance, you can hold R1 until Cliff attacks twice, and then hold R2 for him to switch to a heavy attack. So much of combat in Crimson Desert is about controlling many enemies at once and avoiding getting surrounded. Think of holding an attack button as engaging an enemy rather than striking him, and the feeling starts to click a little bit more. As long as you're hitting him, and not in danger from anyone else, you'll eventually pull off a finishing move. Crimson Desert has a lot of characters, places, and just proper nouns in general that they expect you to know in order to follow the story. Thankfully, a lot of that lore is made pretty explicit in the Knowledge tab of the menu, even if it's never said explicitly in-game. If you want to know how all the Greymanes relate to each other, who exactly is who in the Hernan hierarchy, and who the hell that lady who keeps turning into a bird is, make sure to check the Knowledge tab frequently. Between RKOs, suplexes, and the many other throws you can unlock on the skill tree, Cliff's hands are rated E for everyone, and everyone even includes many of the bosses if they're around Cliff's size. Don't assume that just because they have a special health bar that they're immune to getting tossed around. The Reed Devil, one of the hardest early bosses, can be grappled quite a bit, and while it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, it goes a long way towards filling his stun gauge, which, once filled, you get a certain amount of time to score some free shots on him. They don't make a big deal about it, but the inspect option on the map screen is extremely helpful. Not only do you get a bird's eye diorama view of the entire area, but you can see which factions control it, what missions, if any, are available there, the types of facilities that area offers, and even what camp supplies are available at the trading post. Quests and missions may seem like different words for the same thing, but they actually are different. You have quests as they're normally understood in an RPG, and you'll find these in your quest log in the journal menu. But the term mission is used in the map menu to describe tasks that you send your fellow Greymanes out to perform. There's a quick tooltip for starting missions, but it can be easy to miss. When you inspect a location on the map, scroll over to the missions list in order to launch one from that screen, and once this helmet icon is visible in your camp, you can go talk to Ross to start missions from there. These often have starting requirements such as staffing, gold, or resources, and they take a certain amount of in-game hours to complete. You can sleep or wait at a bonfire to pass the time. If a mission is auto-repeating, it will let you know when it's restarting. If you don't want it to continue to siphon away the needed supplies to start it, make sure you cancel right after it restarts, and reorient your resources to whatever else you might need. Inventory space is important to manage in any open world game. If you have a letter or note that must be read, or an object that must be used to fulfill a quest, it will be a key item, marked as purple in your inventory, and won't take up space. Once you've read it and it's safe to discard, it will then be moved out of that stack of key items, and it will then take up an inventory slot. But you can now either sell it or throw it away. Some quest notices, however, even if you've read them and have the quest in your journal, can't be thrown away until the quest is completed. This also goes for bounty notices. If you haven't completed the bounty, you can't get rid of the paper, and you can't sell it. You're stuck with it until the bounty is done. Once it's completed, it will take up space, but you can now get rid of it. Early on in the Abyss in Crimson Desert, you learn Blinding Flash, a skill that lets you direct your sword at enemies to blind them, as well as activate certain contraptions. You can also use this to light flammable vines on fire, even at nighttime. You don't need to find a fire to dip your arrows in, just hold L1 and R1, and then hold on to L1 again while targeting the vines you want to burn. Bell towers are Crimson Desert's time-tested open-world mechanic of unfogging areas of the map. Anytime you see a bell icon, or something that looks like it could be a bell tower, make sure you ring it so you can see more of the area around you. And if you want to grind these out, we have the location of every bell tower already on our wiki on IGN. One of the items you'll collect are Sealed Abyss artifacts. These come with a challenge you have to complete to unlock them, but once you do, you have to go into the inventory and use this newly unsealed artifact to change it into a standard Abyss artifact you can use as a skill point or refining material. Usually here I'd say, and that's it. There are no more things you may have missed. But that certainly isn't the case. I have about 30 hours logged so far, and I'm still learning a ton around every corner. If there are tips and tricks that you've found during your playtime, do us all a solid and drop them in the comments below. We'll have tons more on this mammoth adventure in the days to come, so make sure you keep your eyes on IGN.